Welcome in. I know I haven't streamed. Hopefully everybody is doing well tonight. And so just got a few things that I want to kind of talk about that's kind of popped up here this last week that's kind of, for lack of a better word, it's kind of got me a little bit, I don't know, razzle dazzled or whatever. And I see I'm joined tonight by Tara. How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's up, homie?
Let me share my screen because I'm glad you joined when you did because I got a couple of things I want to talk about tonight.
Oh, God.
And I love having, you know,
You just want to torment me, don't you?
no. I like other opinions about myself. I don't like being in an echo chamber, right? I really don't. And so anyway, let me share my screen here so that because I just started and share right here in the old Discord. Bada bing, bada boom. So I got basically two different things I want to talk about tonight. And then I think Tara and I are going to probably play some games. And because I know through our text conversations, he's had kind of a, I don't know, other way to put it, it's a shit day, right?
I believe that summarizes properly.
Summarizes it pretty well. Cool. And I've had one myself. So anyway, so we're just going to kind of talk about a couple things. So the first thing I want to talk about, and both of these, I'll just tell you right now, both of these are political subjects, and
All right.
I'll just give you guys a little bit. This kind of stuff Terry doesn't normally like to talk about because it, as he says, it melts his brain. And Terry's not a political person.
No, far
He's
from it.
far from it. He's as far from political as you could get. But anyway, so uh, so this first thing we're going to talk about is a press conference that the President of the United States had this last weekend. During this press conference, he makes a statement that, well, let me just play a statement. Let me bring it up here on the screen here for you guys. Let's just let his words speak for themselves.
Uh-oh.
The press listening. This doesn't violate anybody's Second Amendment right. There's no violation of a Second Amendment right. We talk like there's no amendment that's absolute. When the amendment was passed, it didn't say anybody can own a gun and any kind of gun and any kind of weapon. You couldn't buy a cannon, and when this amendment was passed, and so no reason why you should be able to buy certain assault weapons. But that's another issue.
Okay. So
That's your favorite quote.
oh, I love this, right? Because Uncle Joe here has once again stepped into it. He's put his foot in his mouth, if you will. Now, the first thing that I want to address here is that he makes a statement. Says no amendment is absolute. Okay, and on its face value, he is correct. You know, here in the United States, we have several amendments that were added to the Constitution of the United States, and none of them are absolute. And that what that means is yeah, you can. The amendments could be repealed. The amendments could be modified. They could be changed. But to do so, it literally takes an act of Congress as well as a ratification by all 50. Currently, there's 50, U.S. states. All 50 of the United States would have to ratify this, right?
So that means that every state has to agree upon it.
That is correct. Yes. So you can't. So if they wanted to go in and repeal or modify or change one of the amendments, it could be done, but it would, like I say, it really truly has to be something of monumental status, right? To warrant
Yeah, like
change.
world-renowned bad type thing.
Oh yeah, exactly. Okay, so when he made this statement when the Second Amendment was passed, he says that America could not own, or Americans could not just arbitrarily own a cannon. Okay, so let me bring this up here for you guys here on the screen. Now, what this is this is called the American Letter of Marquis. It was written in 1812, and it was written by, at the time, President James Madison. Now, for those of you out there that may not be astute as far as historically who James Madison was one of the founding fathers, and he was also one of the gentlemen that helped orchestrate and write the Constitution and help write and form the first 10 amendments that were added to the Constitution that established. And one of those amendments was the second one, which was the right to keep and bear arms. So what this letter is this was a letter to a captain of the Prince of, oh Jesus, how do you say, Newfashel? And what it was, he was a what they called, at the time they called him a privateer. And a privateer means this was a person who owned and operated this ship of their own accord, right? They owned this. It was their personal property. It wasn't a ship that was under the control of then the U.S. government, right? But what it's saying here is that they could 100% own, and they did. They had 18 cannons that they put on this ship to protect itself, not only against pirates, okay, but also this was also going on during the War of 1812, and so it could protect themselves against British vessels that were also in the area as well. So this was a letter confirming by the President of the United States to this captain, right, of saying, yes, you have the right to own cannons, right?
Well,
so now, if you really want me to, I can pull up where there has been ruling after ruling by the Supreme Court anytime the Second Amendment has been challenged as far as restricting ownership of weapons, how they've struck it down.
like specific types of weapons, you mean?
Any type of weapon, period. So here's what, maybe I need to do this. Let me bring this down for a second. And let me just do this here, okay? Let me just bring up what the Second Amendment actually says. Okay. Let me bring this up here on this. Okay. So this is what the Second Amendment of the United States says. It says, and this is where a lot of people kind of get things a little bit confused. Understand something. I am not a legal scholar. I am a person of about average intelligence. But the great,
no argument from me.
Exactly. Exactly. No arguments from Terry. Now, here's the thing that I want to point out. This is what's so great about the way that our Constitution is written, and especially up through the first 10 amendments. This was a document that was written at a time where a lot of Americans were not overly educated. They had a very basic or very rudimentary understanding when it comes to as far as book knowledge, right? They had a lot of good common sense. They were hardworking people. They had a really good work ethic and all that, but they were not properly educated, for the lack of a better word, right? So when the Constitution was written, it was written in such a manner as the average layman person could read it and understand what this document was saying they had the rights to, or what they didn't have the rights to, right? And that was purposeful when our founding fathers wrote this document. It was written in that purposeful manner. And here's what the Second Amendment says. It says a well-regulated militia, comma, being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And a lot of people say, okay, well, yeah, but it's talking about a militia, so it's talking about like your National Guard, or it's talking about like the military. That's not what this is saying at all. What it's saying is, and again, you have to understand, when this document and when the Constitution was written, this was written, when the first 10 amendments were written, this was coming on the heels of the Revolutionary War, where Americans had fought, the 13 colonies had fought against Great Britain to declare their independence and not be under the rule of Britain anymore. Okay? And the thing about it was that they wanted to ensure that the American people, as they were to be known going forward, that they would have the ability to defend themselves against all powers, both foreign and domestic. And what that means was they wanted to ensure that if any time the federal government became such a burden upon the American people, that they would have the ability and the wherewithal to overthrow that government. Heaven forbid we never get to that point in time, because that is not something that I ever want to see in my lifetime. That's for certain, right?
No, that would be a mess.
That would be a colossal mess. But they wanted to make sure that the American people had the ability to do this, right? And it says here, the right of the people, right, to keep and bear arms, comma, shall not be infringed, which means that the American people and their ability to own a weapon shall not be infringed upon. Now, a lot of times people who are advocates for gun control, right, will say, well, yeah, but they were talking about, the guns at the time. Well, that's not what this says. That's not what it says. It says to keep and bear arms. It doesn't say only muskets or only, it says arms. And arms means anything that that person deems necessary for their safety, to protect their property and the property of their neighbors. That's basically their fellow countrymen. So when they put in these restrictions, and they say, okay, they want to restrict, you can't have a clip of ammunition that can only have so many rounds in it. It can't exceed so many rounds, or this type of stuff. I'm not going to sit here and say one way or the other on that. I really don't care too much about that. Just as long as they can't come to me and say, okay, you can't own an AR-15. Well, why? Well, because it's an assault rifle. No, it's not an assault rifle. That's not what that stands for. The AR does not stand for assault rifle. Is it a scary looking gun? I guess to people who don't like weapons, it's scary. But I'll tell you something right now. A person with a 9mm pistol with a standard magazine in it can do more damage and can kill more people quicker than a person can with an AR-15. Because the amount of time that it takes to reload one of those rifles like that versus how quickly you can reload a pistol, there's no comparison in between the two. So the bottom line is when President Biden made the statement that Americans could not own cannons back then, even he was wrong. And to this day, even here in America, if you want to go and buy a fighter jet, you can do so. If you want to buy a tank, you can do so. If you want to buy an ICBM missile, you can do so. Now, You're going to have Heck trying to get a warhead for that missile. You're going to have Heck trying to get artillery for the cannon on a tank, or even missiles to be able to launch from a fighter craft. You'll have a really tough time, and the reason why is because all the military style weapons that we have, for example, in the U.S. military, the companies that manufacture those weapons and stuff have exclusive contracts with the U.S. military, to where they can't just turn around and sell those same weapons to the U.S. citizens. But U.S. citizens can go to other foreign powers and buy weapons, and often they do. And there are people who have their own private fighter jets and stuff. If you've got the money and you want to spend it on it, you can buy it and own it legally. So anyway, so that's that. That's all I wanted to say about that. Is President Biden, who is supposed to be the leader of the American people, really needs to brush up on his history and what the laws say for this country, and not just make statements like that when he doesn't really know what he's talking about. This next thing, this one came across. I've seen a couple other people cover this one. Tara, have you seen anything about this?
What are we talking about?
Okay, so this is a video that is going to be a documentary series. Let me bring it up here on the old, so people here at home can see it. This is a documentary series. I don't know how many parts it's going to be on it. It's going to be on the Prime channel, subscription-based channel, Showtime. And anyway, so here's a trailer. It's a 2-minute trailer. And I'm gonna break. I'll pause it and kind of address some things here and there. But I'd kind of like to get your take on this as well. So let's get right into the video.
I think what annoys me most about white people is when they pretend like they're the victim. What's also annoying is when they kill us.
Right.
That's a hell of a way to open up a trailer, ain't it?
Well, I mean, it's got that clickbait thing going on for sure.
Oh, it's got a hell of a clickbait going on. I understand that this is February and this is Black History Month here in America, right? I don't know if they celebrate that up in Canada or not. Do they have a month that they designate as Black History Month in Canada, Tara? Do you know?
I think we follow the same suit, buddy.
Okay, all right. So there we go. We're in the same boat here. So I find it funny too when you have someone playing a victim, right? I don't necessarily designate by ethnicity, because I see people from all walks of life, all ethnicities, male, female, or anything in between, play victim all the time. I think it's hilarious to sit there and watch some. I think the term they use is Karen or Ken. I think it's what they call them. Whatever. Be a complete and total ass in a situation and then play a victim when they see the cameras are on them, right? I think that's hilarious, and I like watching those videos of them, those type of people reacting. As far as that second one, I guess getting killed would be pretty horrible, but the whole statement about white people killing black people, what about when black people kill black people? Is that pretty bad too? I don't know. I'm just having some random thoughts here. So anyway, let's continue on with the video.
What is fragile about whiteness when everything has been constructed around it? every part of who I am has been distorted or criminalized.
It's really just a bunch of white lies.
Okay. So I don't know what the statement about what was it, white fragileness? What did that cat say?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. That shit
What is
just
frag-
melts my brain.
Yeah, I know it's
about whiteness when
okay. So what's so fragile about whiteness? I don't know that there is. So I don't know what that statement. See, that's what's kind of rough about these trailers for things like this, right? It's like you said, it's very clickbaity, right? And so they put things out there that's going to trigger people, right? It's going to get people to hopefully, if they're not subscribed to, was it Showtime? Yeah, to subscribe to Showtime, and it's going to get people to watch and stuff. These type of documentaries, I don't think I really need to watch any more of this, and I don't think Terry really wants to see any more either. If we're quite honest about things, so let me just
That shit in particular, just I don't know, man.
It's for one purpose and one purpose only, right? Anybody who has a mindset of victimhood, right? I'm a victim because of my ethnicity. They see something like this and they're clapping their hands and they're cheering and they're saying yes, yes, yes to all of this stuff, right? I'll try to do my very best to kind of nail where I see things today. I think we as a species, and that being the human species, human beings, I think we as this is planet wide. I don't think this is something that is just exclusive to the States. We have moved past, how do I put this so that it doesn't sound stupid? First and foremost, I'm not going to sit here and say that racism does not exist or prejudice does not exist, because at 100% it does exist. There are still prejudiced people out there in the world. There are still racist, bigoted people in the world. There will always be racist, bigoted, prejudiced people in the world. There will always be. We'll never ever get past that. I'm not naive on that aspect. What I'll say is this: the biggest thing these days that is especially here in the States, but I think it transcends the borders of the U.S. is the biggest problem that we face today is that there are two demographics that exist. It's the demographics of the haves and the have-nots. And what I mean by that is this. You have the haves are the people who have the money. And the people that have the money are the ones who are making the rules. And the rules that they make are the ones that is advantageous for the haves. And the ones and it punishes the have-nots. Okay? Now, here in the States, we used to have basically three classes of people. Okay? You had your poor, then you had your middle class, and then you had your upper class, right? The wealthy. But anymore, there's no middle class. They are what they call working poor. They're poor, but they're working. But by the time that they pay their mortgage or their rent and their utilities and their car payments, and they try to buy some groceries for their family or whatever to put on the table, they have no money, or they're actually in the deficit, right? And so there's a war that is being waged against them, against the working poor. And I actually put myself probably, I'm still in the working poor class, but I'm at the upper edge of the working poor, especially now since my sons have moved out and I'm not having two teenagers to feed anymore. That really freed up a lot of grocery bills.
You're damn straight.
But I sit here and here's what I see. If I go and I'll look at videos on YouTube and stuff, if you go into the urban areas of, like in America, you will see that there is a lot of interaction between urban, like the which are typically black, and law enforcement. Okay, because poor, and they target those areas. Why? Because generally speaking, the poor, because as they use it as a means of escape, it's either drugs, alcohol, or both. Because their lot in life is not the greatest, and they don't see any way out of that lot other than to escape it through some sort of chemical altercations, be it, like I say, drugs or alcohol. And so that's what you see. But if you take where I live, which is in rural America, you see the same thing, but it's primarily white, and it's the same thing. It's drugs and alcohol that they're using, that they quote unquote call the poor white trash, right? And they use those as a means of escape. And so they drive a certain type of vehicle. And so the cops are always pulling them over because, their license is expired, or tag is out, or, they have bulbs out on their rear lights, and there's always some sort of issue with their vehicle, and the cops target them, and they're constantly busting them, and they'll have drugs on them or drug paraphernalia, or they'll be intoxicated or whatever, and they're breaking the law. But the problem is it's a vicious cycle, because they'll take them in, and then they'll bond out, and they'll go to court, and the courts will put them in probation. Why? Because our, the penal system is overflooded. There's no room for them. And so all it does is it makes them have expenses for legal fees. It makes them have expenses as far as, impound fees on their vehicles. And it's just one big vicious cycle. So they will never, ever, ever be able to pay these bills off. And so then they can't pay off their bills, right, that they owe to the legal system. And they can't make those payments on top of trying to pay rent or trying to pay mortgage or whatever whatever their living situations are. And so it's just a big vicious cycle. And it's the same thing when you go to your major cities, and you go in there, and it's the same thing on the people in those situations as well, right? Except for it's black, primarily, black individuals versus, the white individuals in the areas where I live. So it's really it's more of a war on the poor demographic, and I think it's almost to a point where it's punitive, right? Because they don't have the money. And some of it, arguably, can be said, well, it's because they're abusing drugs, or they're abusing alcohol, and they're putting money into that stuff versus doing things to better themselves. And I can't argue that necessarily, other than to say,
yeah, but when your whole life fucking
sucks. Exactly. I mean, you want to escape, right? You want some way out of this whole situation.
I'd be doing it.
Yeah,
fucking right. I'd be chasing the dragon every goddamn night.
Exactly, right. And so, and the thing is, I know some of you guys may know this, some of you may not. But for years, I worked in a public school system, and I drove a school bus. And, the route that I drove was arguably the poorest part of the school district. And some of these houses, and they weren't even houses, they were shacks, right? They were basically, well, falling down on themselves. Shouldn't even be lived in. A lot of these kids didn't even have running water in their homes. They only got fed when they were at school, you know. Anyway, I sometimes get emotional when I think about it, because I think about them poor kids.
Yeah, that shit's horrible, dude.
And anyway, enough depressing shit. So
Perfect.
enough of the depressing shit, right? But anyway, just remember, if you're an American and by God you want a cannon on your front fucking yard, go get that fucking cannon and put some bitch out there. Anyway, so Tara, let's talk video games. So Steam, right?
Yep.
We got
I'm with you
this.
so far.
We got this game. I don't want that.
Oh, Lost Ark.
Yeah, let's talk about Lost Ark a little bit here.
Are we gonna venture down that road?
Well, I don't know, dude. I mean,
I mean, it's free to play, so nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah, so that definitely that. Now it's supposed to go live, I think, on what, the 11th, which is
Friday.
Friday. Yeah, Friday. Supposed to go Friday. I've looked at I've watched some trailers on it and shit. My understanding, you've got 5 classes, right? And on the 5 classes, each of the 5 classes then have 3. From my understanding, there's 3 specialties, or there's 3 avenues that each one of the classes can go into, right? I haven't. I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched all 5 of the classes and the ones that they can specialize in. But there's like a. Well, let's see what I can pull up here, and we'll just kind of look at this here a little bit. Let's see here. Oh, let's see, what's this thing called? This thing's called what? Ark? No.
Lost Ark.
Lost Ark classes. Okay. Here we go. So let me see if I can pull this up here on the old. Boom. Okay. So here's what we've got. So we've got I guess I should share this so you can see it. Because I closed out that screen, didn't I? Yeah, because I'm an idiot. All right, here we go. All right. So we've got a warrior, a martial artist, a gunner, a mage, and assassin. So the ones that I watched was the gunner and the assassin. Now, and the warrior. Okay, so to draw...
The only one you didn't watch was like the mage.
The mage and the martial artist.
Okay.
All right, there's two I did one. The gunner is essentially, from what I've seen and from the way that I would extrapolate it, it's basically like the hunter in WoW. Okay. You've got three different things that you can go into. Like they've got where you're just a gunslinger, right? All right. But then you can go into where you're a sharpshooter. The sharpshooter uses bows and arrows, and will get I think it's an eagle. That's a little companion that as you do damage and stuff, you have like a meter that builds up, and then you can summon the eagle as like your special ability. And then once you summon the eagle, it has different attacks that you can tell it to do, right? and it's there
Right.
it's there until either A, it exhausts its time to be there, or B, depending on the attack that you do, when it does its attack, it releases all that energy that it's stored up, and that's it. It does damage, and it, whatever, right? Boom.
Right.
Okay. This one also has like some melee attacks it can do as well. It's not totally dependent upon range. This guy here, from my understanding here, he's basically, he has a double handgun, a shotgun, and a rifle. Okay. And it rotates between each one of those different types of weapon. And then on each one of those weapons, they have special attacks that they do. Like I was saying, like the shotgun is like for up close, personal, like, face, like when you're in close, or like melee,
standard shotgun.
melee type stuff. Yeah. The rifle is for more like ranged, and then your handgun is also for melee or to medium range type, combat. And it was shown on the graphic, on the video that I watched. It showed on the graphical interface on them, each one of the weapons. It has a little bar for each one of the attacks, and as the cooldown comes up, then that segment of the bar lights back up again, so that that weapon and that particular attack is ready to go again. Right?
Yeah, it sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and it's okay. This guy here, this version of the hunter, or the gunner rather, he basically can bring out turrets and becomes like a mech and stuff as his special abilities and stuff, right? So this guy is pure DPS, nothing but DPS. Of this class is nothing but DPS, and that's it, right? Okay. All right. So the assassin, this class here, basically it only has two. It grows into whatever, and one is a shadow hunter and the other is a death blade. The shadow hunter, its special abilities is it calls forth manifestations that are demons. It channels demonic power and will channel into these demons, and you kind of transform, or you'll get this shell around you, basically, right, of a demon, that does, like, I guess, hella damage or whatever. The death blade is it has like up to 3 swords going at once that does attacks. Is basically essentially what's going on there with that one. But this is a pure melee class. This one kind of struck me as kind of being like the demon hunter in WoW. Like I say,
probably some variation thereof.
Yeah, the warrior is, you've got basically you got a berserker, which is a berserker. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
Oh, there you go. They got a pally, buddy.
Yeah, I did.
Badge on.
Yeah. So I don't know much about this class, this version of the warrior, the paladin and stuff. I didn't see this part of it, I guess. I was kind of got busy with things at work or whatever, but anyway, I don't know. It says here that you can use holy skills and buffs with the holy book to support their team from behind, or wield a sword and bring punishing skills to bear on the fight. So it kind of seems like to me this is kind of either you can have it as either like a DPS, or you can have it kind of as a support. I don't know so much about healing, but because I don't know if there's actually a healing quote class per se. But I can tell you right now, if we play this game, a paladin I shall not play.
What if it's like the best class of the game?
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
Out, man?
I don't give a shit. I just really don't give a shit.
Just because you said that, I'm gonna play Pally.
I think you should. Okay, so the gun lancer sounds like he's like the tank. It says, first line of defense, gun lancers take the brunt of enemy attacks with their defensive stance and battlefield shield to keep the rest of their party safe. Yeah. So this is, they absorb the damage like a sponge. So they are the tank of the group, or the classes.
Curious to see if it actually plays like your standard MMO classes.
Yeah, I am.
Isometric view.
Yeah. I'm wondering here if the mage, barge. I bet you the barge is like the healer.
Yeah, Bard's probably got some healing capabilities.
Yeah, it says soothing serenades to heal their team or unleash a chorus of pain on their unfortunate foes. Their attack power is rather low, but their ability to support allies make them a harmonious part of any team. So yeah, this is your healer. Is the bard. And then of course they got a sorceress, which is, I'm sure, like any
nuke shit.
Yeah. So, but it looks like they have both fire and frost type weapons that they can, or spells that they can cast.
Well, I will download it on Friday when it fucking pops, and we'll see. Maybe it's got some hope.
Now
I was watching Bellular's review on it, and he was basically saying there's a lot of potential in it. He's not 100% sure yet how he feels about it. And the pay to win aspects are just pay to relieve the grind. So it's gonna depend how much of an effect that has on the general game, but
okay.
The upside is it's not like go buy your like top tier crap. It's just cut down on the amount of chores.
All right, so here's these founder packs that you can buy pre-launch of the game that they have a bronze, a silver, a gold, and a platinum each, and so bronze is $15, silver is $25, gold is $50, and platinum is $100.
Yeah, and the royal crystals are what you're really after, I think, from what I understand.
Yeah.
What you can use to actually purchase crap.
Yeah. A premium in-game currency that can be exchanged for various in-game items. Yeah. So anyway, if a game is a pay,
great though.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's my take on this. Which kind of we had a conversation. I had a conversation with one of my coworkers that's a gamer and stuff. And we were talking about this. If a game is free to play with this type of a thing where you can buy stuff that is, like, I know you get a mount, a pet, and some, I don't think you get like any kind of necessarily, I don't know if you get any weapons. It says here 30-day crystalline aura. I don't know what that means. Okay, so this is just basically, it makes you, okay, so that just means that you get a buff that basically makes you learn stuff faster. Looks like you regen your health and shit faster or whatever. And it's just going to help you level up faster. Looks like what that you get a 30-day buff or whatever that helps you basically level up faster. Okay. I'm all right with that. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Head start. Okay, you get to play 3 days ahead of everybody else. Whoop-dee. But here's back to my original thought. Okay. So, if you go out and you buy a game that is from a game manufacturer, right? And it's especially if it's like from a AAA, you're looking at $60, right, for a game.
Yep.
So you get into the game and everybody's on the same kill. There's no pay to win. You just have to grind out your levels. Whatever, and then whatever accoutrement or whatever that you got to have to whatever. Okay, fine. Okay. And then you've got the pay to win. Well, okay, like if you're doing the PvP type stuff, well, you have to, so that you get so many more chances to do battle in a day, or you get, certain, you get to unlock things or grow or power up things or whatever. So that is a true pay to win type scenario, right? And a lot of your mobile games are like that, especially, right?
They're freaking rife with that shit. That's why I don't even call them games. I don't even know what you want to call them, but mobile to me is still not even a gaming platform.
Okay.
It's just
all right. Then they have things like this here. To where if you want to spend $50, say, to get the gold, which is what a AAA game would cost you. And if you do that, you're going to get some in-game currency that you use to buy stuff, and you'll get, some this, that, whatever else, right? I don't know if I don't think I necessarily have a problem with that, because you're not necessarily getting anything that is, quote, you're not necessarily, I don't think, getting access to weapons or anything like that is going to.
No, you're just speeding up your process.
You're speeding up your process. So I personally don't necessarily have a problem with that type of a presentation. What's your thoughts on it?
It depends on the style of game, and it depends on what's involved in like the end game content. If you're just racing forward to get to the end game, or it's making it so that you can actually join your friends because you're the one idiot that works too much.
Sure.
All the power to it. But it depends if it throws off the balance of the entire server too, right? Like if half the people are freaking boosted, and all of a sudden, like, you can't get your hands on resources, or you can't get, like, all the crap that New World ran into, where basically like you're gate blocked on every single aspect of like the end game content.
Yeah.
Well, then the game's garbage, right? So the upside to someone who hasn't paid anything is if you get there and that's the case, then you just uninstall the damn thing and say, well, thanks for wasting my time.
Yeah.
Hopefully you got, a little bit of free enjoyment out of the level grind, but
yeah,
it would be nice if, I don't know, it'd be nice if they got it right. You never know.
See,
the game's been out for a while, right?
No. It's just, okay, there's been a few streamers that have started playing today, or yesterday, I guess it was, because 3 days out would be, so if it goes live Friday.
Super early in Taiwan or something.
I don't think so.
I don't like that.
I don't think so. I know, like, I've seen Asmongold and Tim the Tap Man and stuff that were doing it yesterday. So I think they actually got access to it like yesterday, which would have been 3 days out from Friday, right? Is that correct? So that would be Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. So yesterday, sure.
So Lost Ark is an isometric 2.5D fantasy massively multi-online action role-playing game, co-developed by Tripod Studios and Smilegate, game development subsidiary Smilegate RPG. It was fully released in South Korean region on December 4th, 2019.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know what the deal with that is. I'm not sure if it was like released over there as like this is what our plan is, and then they've added to it and they've, done whatever to it.
Yeah.
Americanized it, or if they're even like linked, like it may be a completely separate thing from over there, right? So
sure, they may, because remember now, okay, originally back when WoW launched, Europeans had to play with Europeans, Americans played with Americans, and and the Asians played with. You could not get into a Euro server, or Euros could,
in Europe.
Exactly, and Euros could not get into America unless they were in America.
But that was back in the day, though, when server farms and server hostings and all the rest of that crap were actually difficult to come by. Like, the world's pretty connected now.
Sure, and they did eventually change it, But anyway, it would be kind of a bummer. You log into the game and you've already got max characters running around everywhere, screwing with you and shit. So sure to goodness that's not the case
even if
here.
They can. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know how the PvP aspect works, or if there is one.
Yeah.
Actually, there is one, and I heard it was relatively balanced.
Yeah. Now, here's something else I'll say.
Compared to what? I don't know.
Yeah. Here's something else I'll say about this, you getting this buff or whatever, okay? Okay, so if you buy one of these things, whatever, and you get buffed or whatever, okay, so maybe you level up fast, whatever, you're still going to be competing with other people that are buffed around you, I would assume, for resources, right? And so they're going to be going through the different zones to get to the different mats or whatever, right? And I know that was a thing that was going on in that New World game, right? That people were competing for mats, and and then they had people that were, I can't remember, I know there was a big thing, they banned a bunch of people, right? Because they were, I don't know, they were doing something with the market or something. They were doing something that, I don't remember all the specifics about it. I just know that they wound up banning a bunch of people.
Yeah, there was a whole lot of hoopla with that game. I think most of it though was shit that Amazon did to themselves. And
Oh yeah, I'm sure they shot themselves in the foot. But what I'll say is,
anytime you have executable text in your world chat, like that's problematic.
sure. but what I was going to say is if you don't do the one of these, like what they call them, founder kits or whatever type thing, right? And you don't have the buffs or whatever, yeah, it's going to take you probably longer to get to the, it's definitely going to take you longer to get to the levels or whatever. But all those yahoos that bought one of these kits or whatever are going to go on out away from you faster, right? Because they're going to get their stuff and go. And then that's going to leave you there to have hopefully better access to the resources, materials, and stuff to do your own leveling. So there are some advantages to not buying into these things, right?
Sure.
So
I think if you're just a normal person, I think you lose a lot when you boost like that.
Yeah.
I think you lose all the pride and the sense of completion and everything else that you would normally get if you just kind of fast track your way through the game. But
yeah,
that's just my own personal opinion. And I mean, I like playing games, so I enjoy playing them from start to finish. I don't want to skip shit, but I'm not necessarily the status quo either. So
yeah. Well, I like I say, I'm not going to sit there and be quote poo-poo on somebody that wants to buy one of the founder packs or whatever. Hey, good for you. That's what you want to do. Knock yourself out. I think we can come to that. We're going to give this a shot. We're going to give this game a whirl. We're going to play it. It may be, from what I've seen in the videos of gameplay and watching some streamers play, it kind of strikes me kind of like a Diablo-esque type interface.
Oh, it's very isometric based.
Yeah. So, keyboard, I'm sure it probably has built-in controller support as well. So anyway, I guess we'll give this a whirl on Friday evening then.
Yeah, why not?
Howdy ho, why not? Okay. I was going to, let's see, let me do this here right quick while I do a little search right quick. I was going to show you something else that I was reading today. I think I may have shared it actually in where did I put it? My gaming news, maybe. No, I guess maybe I did. I was reading an article on that Grounded game that we play.
Yeah, it's not launched yet, but I know they added some more shit.
Yeah, let me see if I can find the updates. Yeah, here we go. So let me bring this up on the. Okay, so I don't know if are you still watching my stream as far as the shared whatever I've got in Discord?
No, you can. Oh yeah, I am.
Okay, so this is a patch 12.1 or .0.12.1, and this was from February the 3rd. So this was just 6 days ago, right? And so they got some fixes, whatever. They've done something, whatever. They've added some. Well, no, this was not the one. Maybe. Where was the? Let me see here. Where was it? Yeah, this one here. This was from February the 1st. This is one. Yeah, okay. So they've got some new areas that they've added. Biomes, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Yep.
Okay. So they got the barbecue spill. Okay. And they're talking about the sandbox was sizzling hot. So I guess there was an area added called the sandbox. We've got blistering coals from a barbecue. There's some rewards that says to be found. Then they talk about they've got a new termite dungeon to go on adventure. I don't. There's more places to explore around the shed. There's some new crafting content and building updates. Then there's some. So the peeper was born, so you can use your hands to, I guess, look further away now. This one here I thought was kind of cool. They added a thing on the survey stations where you go in and you do you analyze a rock or whatever, right? Whatever you found out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can now go into the survey stations and click on it, and it'll give you where you can find those resources on the map. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so you can kind of say, okay, well, this is where this is at. This where I thought that's kind of cool how they've done that, right?
Although it does take away a little bit of the exploration part.
Well, no,
but I guess you got to be there in the first place.
You got to find it to begin with, right? And then you do a discovery on it or whatever, right? When you take it back to the research station, and that's when it unlocks the different recipes that you can craft from that resource, right? So you have to discover it first of all. So I think they're not just giving, you go here and find this. No, you have to find it first. So they just tell you this is where you can see where there's like a high concentration of the area, so you get a little bit better. You get better results from your efforts, I guess, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
They've added some new bugs. So that's always cool. They've added the termite, the soldier termite, the ladybird larva, black ox beetle, a roly-poly, a green shield bug, a dust mite, a scarab, an infected wolf spider, and a secret royalty. You can craft a termite axe, a black ox hammer, a termite chest armor, splinter arrows, a new secret weapon, a new set of base floors, and 2 new meats. So,
it's a fair bit of stuff.
Yeah, and then they've changed some game options. Like you can have the bugs ignore you. You can have bugs spawn. I guess your building integrity can be. I don't know if that means like that you have to repair it or it will collapse, or maybe kind of like how it is in Valheim. If you try to whatever, then the gravity becomes an issue. I don't know exactly what that means exactly. Says I guess they've added some quests, and I guess you can turn on friendly fire and player damage. Evidently now you can get pets. You can adjust your hunger and thirst drain, and you can also, I guess, adjust their stam drain. Whether or not your food spoils, something else like that. Anyway, there's lots of new things. It looks like they've added to the game. So it may be something. It sounds like to me they're getting real close. Hopefully to releasing it.
Well, I am looking forward to doing an actual playthrough when it's finished.
Yes, because we've kind of toyed with this game, but we haven't just gotten real too deep into it. There was another thing that I was going to kind of share with the guys tonight. Iron Gate, which is the manufacturer Valheim, yeah. They put out a hang on here.
Our old one. So we found a new office, a small office, the cheapest one we could afford.
Come on, what's going on here?
Now afterwards we can pretty much take.
Why is that not showing up here? Hang on here, YouTube.
Are you talking about the magic eye? Look for the small like nuggets of what we've added video.
No, what they were doing is okay. So February marks the 1 year anniversary for Valheim being a game, right?
Yep.
Okay. So what this person did was they sat down and they have a chat with the devs. And there's two of them that they're chatting with, and it's the original creator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's something that's kind of cool, Tara. I was going to, let me back this up a little bit. This is what the game originally looked like, and I don't want to play the video, whatever, too much here, because I would encourage everybody to go check this out if you're catching the VOD or whatever, or watching the stream here. But they've set up a house or whatever, built a little house, and they're sitting around this fire pit, and they're just having a conversation, right? It's like a bunch of Vikings sitting around a fire talking or whatever. And of course, the dev, the original creator of this game, of course, is Nordic, right? So he sounds like a Viking, which makes it even sweeter, I think, But anyway, he talks about in this interview or whatever, how it all started, right? And like, for example, he never intended this to be a server-based game, right? And he never intended it to be like a MMO or anything like that. It was more, but, and then it just kind of took a life,
Mm-hmm.
But here's a little clip of what the game looked like.
Talk a bit about
So
how has it changed since it started, and how did it become what it is today? Do you ever expect it to blow up the way that it did?
Wow, definitely not. It's been a very long journey for me. It started out as just a small hobby project. I just wanted to do some research and experimenting with P2P networking. With my initial idea was to create a serverless MMO-ish thing. So I mostly just worked on backend stuff, and
but there also, he goes, it wasn't originally called Valheim. Okay, it was originally called, and he talks about it, but you can see it up here in the corner of the.
It's been a very long.
But let me see here. You see it when he plays a little video here, where it was a capture of the demo right there. It was called Feud, Fejd.
Huh.
It was the original name of the game was Feud. But they learned that people outside of Norway, right, really couldn't say the word. So they changed it.
It's those J's, man. It's those J's.
Yeah, he says it's pronounced in Norwegian. It's feud, right? Like you're having a feud with somebody. But it's kind of interesting to see, like, the character model there, right, is definitely different than what we have today, of course, right? You can see the models that they have sitting around the fire. But the landscaping has changed a little bit. I mean,
not far off.
Not much.
Textured, added, spruce, but it's kind of like the outline is almost there, right?
Yes, yeah.
And that's definitely Black Forest they're looking at.
Oh, sure. And then the troll looks exactly like the trolls that when we first started playing Valheim, but now they've kind of done an update on it or whatever. I guess you would say.
They spruced him up.
Yeah, they gave him a little bit of a retexturization or whatever. But anyway, it's a little 30-minute interview with the devs of where it's at, where they're currently at, and the fact that they were just overwhelmed with the reception of this game and the popularity of this game, and
I
You
am
know,
just glad that they have stuck to their laurels, and
yeah,
they're not just catering to every dickhead out there that
yeah,
wants to see this or wants to see that, and
yeah,
they're just building their game. And I hope
yeah,
they continue to do that.
yeah.
Like
There.
there's going to be lots of stuff that we all want to see added
Oh,
to
sure.
games, especially when we're loving them. But I hope that like I'm completely happy if they disappoint me from this point forward by not adding a single thing I'd like to see in here, as
Yeah,
long as they're sticking to their guns about what they want to create,
yeah,
because they've earned it. Like
yeah,
they've done a great job with this game.
but anyway, check out it's Iron Gate is the name of the YouTube channel, and this is from the developers of the game uh, of Valheim. If you have, I've done I've got some videos here on the channel of a playthrough that we've done. We are just now completing another playthrough. I think it's about my fourth or fifth playthrough of the game.
Rookie.
I know, rookie, right? Exactly. But the game is so. Yes, okay. So there's a progression level through the game, and you have to do these certain things and these certain steps to progress the game. That is a constant. Okay, but it's going to be different because each time that you fire up a game from scratch, the world is procedurally generated. So everything is going to be in different locations. You have to go hunt for these things. Sometimes you'll get a really good seed and things are not too terribly far away from you. Sometimes the seeds has things scattered as you were to the wind. One thing I can definitely tell you, if you want the game to be a lot more challenging,
Don't use gates.
don't use gates. Don't use that to zip around everywhere, but go out and actually explore and have to sail back and forth between the different land masses to get what what have you. Another way to make this extremely, extremely challenging is play with a group of friends.
Especially my group of friends. It's like having a bunch of anchors attached to your feet.
But no, the more people that you have playing, the creatures.
Yeah, they scale up in health,
they scale
and
everything
and attack power. Yeah.
And so, you have a group of 4 people that makes the creatures. I don't know if it's like a 1-to-1 to where if you've got 4 people, it makes them 4 times as hard. I don't know if it's what the multiplier is, but I could tell you right now, even though we've played through this game multiple times and we know what we know what to expect, I guess, for lack of a better word, it's still extremely challenging because like in this playthrough, I noticed that I was seeing a lot more multi-star mobs.
Yeah, I noticed that too, especially in the Black Forest.
In the Black Forest, and also like when we were in the plains now, and we're raiding the villages to get the idols so we can summon the last boss. Those 2-star trolls that are in there, are you kidding me? Those, oh man, those things are like Timex watches, dude. They take a licking and just keep on ticking. But this is a game that has replayability out the yin yang.
It really does, yeah.
I know 2 things that they're big things that they're working on right now that are going to be released in the game here within the next quarter or 2. Is they're in the mountain biomes, they're adding dungeons to the mountain biome. I'm really curious to see what that's going to happen. But the big one is that the Mistlands is going to be the biome Mistlands is going to be made active. So that's going to give you meadows, the Black Forest, swamp, mountains, plains, Mistlands. So that's 6 biomes right there. They've still got the fire or the
Torchlands, the
torch.
Northlands,
Yeah.
ocean
Ocean
biome, and
biome.
anything else that they may want to cram in there.
Exactly.
I mean,
so
the
there's
best part about this game
yeah.
is that world is huge.
Yes. So we know definitely of 3 more biomes that they could do things in. And as Tara says, they could add other biomes if they wanted to. And I think the way that they're designing this game and the way that they're doing it, adding biomes should not be a problem.
No.
Now, I don't know if that means that, and this is just the mark or the money making mind part of my mind. I think maybe they add some more biomes outside of what they currently have, but maybe they should have it as like a DLC or an expansion to give them some more money in their pockets. And I don't know about Terra, but I gladly would throw some more money at them to get more biomes and get, more expansions into this game.
Once they finish the core game,
yes,
I would like them to stop talking about the game and just decide what they're going to do with it.
Yep.
And if they're going to put more content out, I just want to be surprised one day when I log into Steam and find a
DLC,
$15 to $20 DLC.
Exactly.
I don't want to know about it. I don't want to sit there waiting for it. I don't want to hear a goddamn thing about it. I just want to log in and be like, what the fuck? Well, I guess I'm calling into work.
Yeah.
Because, that's one of the things that I think game companies and, studios in general are doing that.
Yeah.
It kind of hinders them now, because when you really stop to think of it, how long does it take to get the word about a game out? Like, in a week, you can cover the entire world. So why the fuck are they continuously building this hype for, like, years? Years.
Yeah. Well, it don't even take a week, Tara. Today, with social media the way it is, they could
15 minutes, you can probably have it out there if you got a big enough campaign.
Dude, they could put out one tweet. Or they could put out a 10-minute video or something on YouTube, on their YouTube channel. And boom. And, especially if it has a following like this game does, then that's going to hit that. That's going to become, and it's in a matter of minutes. Like, for example, let's just do this here. Let's go over here.
Like, how much do you think Valheim spent on marketing compared to what EA spends on marketing for the same FIFA game that launches every fucking year?
I have no idea.
It blows my mind that they're willing to spend that kind of money on marketing when it's not even necessary. Just build a good game.
Yeah. Okay. So Valheim, right? Look at their Twitter page here. Valheim's Twitter page, they have 137,000.6, let's just say 130,000 followers, right? Now, if they put out a tweet, right, with 100,
oh god, it's multiplied every step of the way.
Exactly. So let's say half of their followers there, so let's say 54,000 people turn around and retweet that. Then however many followers those 54,000 has, see, it's an exponential gain there, right? Boom, 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 boom. It just grows.
Yep.
So
I would love to see all these AAA companies just stop spending the $8 bazillion in fucking marketing and hire like 6 fucking QA guys.
Yeah.
How hard is that?
Yeah.
Maybe then Bethesda will release something that's not fucking bugged to shit in the first year it's out. Wait for the whole community to fix it.
Oh me, yeah. Once could hope, right? Once could hope. So
it's amazing, man. It's still amazing to me that this industry went from what it was to what it is. Like, I remember back in the day, like literally in the 80s, when you get to the software store, like, shit had to work. Because if not, you had to pick up a phone and call and be like, hey, shit's broken.
Yeah, there
was no download a patch.
No,
that shit had to be done.
It had to be. Yeah, there was no internet back then. There was no. I mean, you had dial-up modems and stuff where you get on a local, bulletin board system or something, right? But there was no.
Yeah, but that wasn't like you weren't getting in touch with Sierra Online via the web.
No, that didn't exist, right? So when they put their stuff out, their stuff had to work. Period.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if you bought a stove in the shape that most AAA games come in these days,
I wouldn't
this
cook.
should be going right back to fucking Leon's, man.
Yeah. The thing too that's kind of amazing is I think back to the days, and I've been playing games for a long, long, long time, right? The very first computer I ever had, quote, computer and to play a game on was Commodore 64, right? And you stop and think about, yeah. So you stop and think about the games that we played on like the Commodore 64 and stuff. They fit on a floppy disk that was like, I think the storage capacity on the 5.25-inch floppies were like
1.2 meg.
No, not on the Commodore 64, dude. They were like,
no, sorry, you're right.
Like,
that was on the PC 5.25.
Yeah, I want to think like 700. Let's see. I want to say like 720 kilobytes, maybe. How much?
720K. That sounds close to right.
Space was on a 1541 floppy drive. I actually know the model number.
One-sided.
Yeah, 1541 is a single-side 170 kilobyte drive for 5.25-inch discs.
Wow.
Now, we actually had video games that were on one floppy disk.
Oh, dude, my Commodore, when I was getting stolen games back in the day.
Yeah.
From the crazy guy up the street from me, you'd throw like 30, 40 games on one floppy.
You could, some games, but they're a little bit better games. And there was a few games I can remember back in the day that I wasn't getting stolen ones. I was actually buying them. Because I didn't know anything about that where I lived at. I mean, that wasn't a thing. But I want to think like the Pool of Radiance, which was a D&D game, was like maybe two floppy disks, maybe, or maybe three.
Yeah, okay. So, but you're talking PC era, not that.
No, that was on the 50. No, my dude, that was on the 64.
I never had multiple disc games on the Commodore.
I think. Let's see here. Was it Pool?
I'm thinking that's either Amiga or it's maybe Tandy. If not, it's definitely in early PC years. I don't remember if Pool of Radiance.
Here we go, right here. Pool of Radiance, Commodore 64.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Yeah.
You know why? I'm thinking Eye of the Beholder. I apologize.
Okay, yeah. Platform, it came out on the Commodore 64, the Amiga, and the Atari ST. It was released in 1988.
There you
go. It was by SSI. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was based on the official Dungeons and Dragon rules.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember playing this. It had the fighter, the wizards, cleric, and a thief. Yeah. I remember playing that on my Commodore 64. Yeah. And I want to think it was like, I want to say it was like 2 or 3. I never did beat the damn game. I never could beat it. I didn't. This was before I was the elite gamer that I am today. But the game was just, I couldn't understand. I couldn't wrap my brain around it, how the game worked. But anyway, it was, I wish now I had and could play this game.
You could probably find it in a web-based something or other somewhere.
I bet you probably could, but yeah. But I remember,
every Christmas time area, I always end up loading up a lot of the old games that I originally started playing, like basically the full Sierra catalog and some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll rip through them just for like a nostalgic computer afternoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's where you start. Like everybody had a different starting point.
Sure. But anyway, that's we've just kind of been all over the map tonight, ain't we? But anyway, so I'm gonna wrap up the stream. I just wanted to kind of do just like a little. All
right, I'm gonna jump in the other Discord. Good night, Riv stream. Have yourselves a fantastic evening. We'll catch you around.
Thanks for joining in, Tay. I appreciate it, bud.
Yeah, we'll catch you a few, buddy.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining me this evening and joining me and Tara, whatever. So we're going to play this game, I guess, this Lost Ark, and we'll have some adventures, I'm sure, and laughs in it or whatever. I will try to stream as much as I can. I'm going to try to do better about streaming. I know I've said that multiple times, but I am going to make a conscious effort to really be more dutiful about this stuff. But anyway, until then, I will catch you guys in the funny papers.